Hello and welcome to Innov'Nation. I'm your host, Lynn Plachmeijer, and thank you for joining us. The startup nation is best known for its defense tech, but another sector is quietly leveling up: gaming. We'll have all the latest developments for you, but first, our headlines. Gaming for good. We speak to a company that uses games to train doctors and another one that uses games to foster girls' self-esteem. Our Joe Brown speaks to 3 lucky winners at the first GameIst, the Digital Games Association for Israel Grant Awards. And amid growing political turmoil, one defiant penguin is breaking the internet. We'll break it down for you. Israel's gaming industry is finally stepping out of the shadows of its wider tech boom. Local studios and investors are pushing into global markets even as the sector adapts to new challenges and opportunities. Some experts say Israel has fallen behind in scale, while others call gaming an untapped national growth engine. So which one is it? To map out the Israeli gaming landscape, I'm now joined by i24 News host and correspondent Nicole Tzedek. So Nicole, how is the Israeli gaming industry really doing?
Well, Lynn, we know the broader tech ecosystem here in Israel is booming. So the fact that the gaming sector is a fast-growing part of that is good news. But it's often been operating out of the spotlight. And so people don't often know what comprises the gaming sector here in Israel. We're talking game studios, tech platforms, tools, ad tech services, all of this industry, so to speak, that has been operating all the meantime, but not getting the same attention necessarily as to, let's say, the cybersecurity or enterprise software industries here in Israel. But just because it's not in the headlines doesn't mean it's not making any money, Lynn. In fact, $10 billion in annual revenue. That's what's been estimated each year as far as the industry generating $10 billion in annual revenue. And it's interesting, actually, because a lot of that revenue, it's mainly coming from export revenues, an international audience, mainly based in North America, Europe, Asia. And I think that'll make sense why when I explain some of the main segments that make up this gaming sector. On the one hand, there's game creation studios. These are the ones that build games across different mobile, telephone apps, more of these casual genres, those fun apps that we open on our phone. There's also gaming tech and tools. This is data-driven monetization systems, ad tech platforms, analytics, user acquisition tools. And this is interesting because it not only supports Israeli, but also some global game developers. So that takes us back to that international audience. And then also supporting services, marketing, cloud tools, creative production, not only things that can also be operating here in Israel, but once again, on the global scale. And what's also interesting about the gaming sector is this global audience is a lot of players. You know, unlike some local startups that sell tech to other companies, let's say, the Israeli game companies, they sell directly to global international players around the world. And so we're getting some of this industry and some of this revenue from different economies that are going right back into the Israeli economy. So it all comes together to breed to some pretty good news for the Israeli gaming sector, Lynn.
A $10 billion gaming industry, and it's growing on the global scene. Thank you so much, Nicole, for breaking that down for us. Now, in Israel's growing gaming scene, small independent studios are fighting for visibility and support. At the first ever GameIst, the Digital Games Association for Israel Grant Awards, 3 developers are about to get a crucial boost. Our correspondent Joe Brown went to take a look and spoke to the winners.
Gaming is a $10 billion industry in Israel, and it's only getting bigger. Now here, at the first ever GameIst Grant Awards, 3 independent developers will walk away with a game-changing sum of money to help enhance their projects further. So who will win? Let's take a look.
Around 80 independent game developers submitted their original projects to GameIst, the Digital Games Association for Israel, in order to win monetary grants.
There was a huge variety here from all the platforms, PC games, mobile games. There were all kinds of games, from casual games to RPG games, adventure, FPS, and RTS. And, you know, I've seen many different takes and very interesting and creative takes on existing genres, as well as mixes of new genres.
Sponsored by video game-centered fintech company Xsolla, 3 prizes were up for grabs, with the winner taking home 30,000 shekels, equivalent to roughly $9,500.
I think that the winners will be able to use the grants to kickstart a funding process. It's not meant to give them enough money to launch the game immediately, but it's enough money to develop a more stable and more full version of their games, and then start raising investments or other funding channels.
The judging panel consisted of seasoned professionals in the Israeli gaming industry who, after weeks of whittling down the 80 submissions into a shortlist, picked their 3 winners. In third place, winning 10,000 shekels, is Ribcage Games with their game Alpha Nomos, a genre-bending mix of action and rhythm.
I'm very appreciative. I am very thankful to Gamies and Xsolla for the grant, but also for bringing the community together. And I'm excited to talk with the team and show them that all of our hard work is getting noticed. Because a lot of the time as a, tiny indie team, you kind of work into the void, and seeing someone go, hey, we like your game, we think it actually has worth, and we want to invest in it, is an amazing feeling.
In second place, winning himself a 20,000 shekel grant, is Aviv Levy with his pandemic-themed puzzle game Xenospore, about defending the world from an alien fungus. Aviv is a solo developer, which has its own benefits and limitations, but this grant takes a huge weight off his shoulders.
Sometimes you don't have that togetherness that helps you. So I think that's the main challenge of being a solo developer, but it's also about, I guess, time management. Like, you have to do basically mostly everything. Some solo developers hire professionals, but I do the art and the programming and everything myself. And now I can also hire someone to do the music, so that helps me a lot.
And the winners, taking home the top grant of 30,000 shekels, is Cookie Bite Entertainment with their game Tattered Banners.
Hard to put into words. I think we're feeling ecstatic. I mean, I had a hope that we'd get something, maybe be on the podium, but I didn't think we'd be first place. It's pretty surreal.
A strategy-based role-playing game set in the medieval fantasy world, Tattered Banners shows how individual events have a ripple effect on the world that surrounds it. And with the game hoping to go live soon, this money will go a long way.
We're planning on releasing a demo in April, and we'll use the money in order to reach that goal and in the best state we can.
Compared to the funding needed to make a game from start to finish, these grants may be small. But it gives a much-needed investment not only into the game, but also into the future of this burgeoning industry.
We want to make sure that, first of all, we nurture the local talent so they can continue generating value for this market, but also to diversify the market, to make sure that we generate a diversified range of products from different types of companies, and that will really strengthen our industry locally here.
Now, video game technology isn't just for entertainment anymore. It's emerging as a powerful force in healthcare, from chronic disease management to surgeon training. But despite Israel's world-class hospitals and game studios operating side by side, the country has yet to fully tap into that potential. One of the leading voices pushing for that shift is Sam Glassenberg, an American game industry veteran and founder of Relevate Health Games, and formerly Level X and head of emerging health tech initiatives at the Sheba Innovation Center, ARC. So, Sam, thank you very much for being with us today. You have extensive knowledge of both the US and the Israeli market. So what exactly is the difference, and why do you think that Israel is falling behind?
I think that the Israeli market, first off, has grown incredibly in the last 20 years. I remember I gave a keynote at the Israeli Game Developer Conference like 20 years ago, and it was 100 people in a room, and the Israeli video games industry didn't exist. Today, the Israeli video games industry is the huge startup nation success story that no one's ever heard of. The global games industry is $200 billion in revenue a year. It's bigger than the music and the movie industries combined. Israel went from nothing to almost 10 billion of that revenue. 5% of global revenues come out of Israel. Israel is churning out video games and video game technology that's literally being played by billions of people. What's not happening is it's very siloed. So the Israeli video games industry is enjoying this incredible success. In the meantime, we have some very innovative hospitals in Israel, like Sheba, that are doing all sorts of interesting things to integrate and prototype and pilot new technologies at the hospital. But these two industries, the Israeli health tech sector, which has also been very successful, and the Israeli video game sector, are not talking to each other. And so I've been brought on to fix that.
Aha. So you design games to train healthcare professionals with FDA approval. So how big of an asset are these games when it comes to implementing them in real life?
So the applications of games in healthcare are many. I've built and sold a few companies that do video games for medical training. So millions of medical professionals now in the United States and elsewhere earn continuing education credit toward renewing their medical licenses from playing video games that train their brains. If you think about diagnosing a difficult patient, that's a puzzle game. Managing a complex patient is a strategy game. Surgery, obviously, can be very video gamey, a difficult procedure. But that's just one area. If you look, so today, the FDA has actually approved video games for treatment. There are video games that doctors can prescribe for things like ADHD, and then insurance companies pay for it like it's a drug. So there's major opportunities to build video game products and then sell them to doctors, pharmaceutical companies, patients, insurance companies, AI companies. There are endless opportunities to take video game tech and the neuroscience of video game design and unleash it to solve the endless set of problems in healthcare.
So you also design them for the patients themselves or just for healthcare professionals?
There are many companies that do, or growing companies that do games for patients. We've just started. We actually just launched a game for type 1 diabetes patients that has become incredibly successful very quickly.
And what do you think when we look to the future? Do you think this is the standard gaming for healthcare? Is this going to be what we're going to see in the future?
Definitely. When we think today, I fundamentally believe that video games are going to become a fundamental force accelerating the adoption curve in healthcare. What do I mean by that? Today, or let's say 20 years ago, a doctor needs to learn something new. She'll go, okay, I can watch a lecture, I can read a book, I can maybe attend a presentation. Or if it's a procedure, I can practice it on an ant and on a pig or something like that. There's a limited set of ways to learn. Today, what we've accomplished is now video games have just become one of those accepted methods. So years ago, I would say, oh, we make video games for doctors, and people would raise an eyebrow. What does that mean? Today, we say we make video games for doctors, and people say, oh yeah, I've played a video game I've played a medical game, I played a dermatology game or a gastroenterology game. 10 years from now, that's just going to be accepted. You're going to say video games for doctors, and people are going to say, oh yeah, haven't we always had that? And it's just going to be part of the way that doctors are brought up to speed on the latest techniques, the way that diseases, especially mental health diseases, are treated, the way patients are onboarded with new treatments and new devices.
Very interesting. And I understand that your whole family are doctors. So you're really at the forefront of this innovative gaming initiative and the innovation over there. So thank you very much for joining us. Sam Glassenberg, founder of Relevate Health Games and head of Emerging Health Tech Initiative at Sheba Arc. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Now, when we think of gaming, we think of sweaty teenage boys playing in their bedrooms. But recent studies show that almost half of all gamers are female. A large portion of this demographic, however, feels misrepresented, and 35% of young girls say that their self-esteem is negatively impacted by the games they play. This is where Toya comes in. It's an Israeli female-led gaming studio dedicated to growing girls' self-esteem and body image. So for more, I'm now joined by co-founder and CEO of Toya, Anat Sperling. So Anat, thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Let's start with the problem, because what is the problem that girls face?
Facing all sorts of problems. One would be feeling safe and confident to speak up, to play, to compete with other players. So it's not that obvious that they would feel encouraged. They are sometimes bullied. They not necessarily feel safe in this ecosystem. So that's one issue. The other issue is the representation issue, just like it was in film, still is. So I can't be what I can't see, said a very famous smart woman. So if I'm playing, what is it that I'm seeing? What is it that I need to be? What kind of, female protagonists do we have? And so I think this world is slowly shifting now, but I think this was very much missed over the past 20 years or so, with the caveat of UGC platforms emerging and changing that for female gamers and future developers.
And you said that Roblox is the biggest platform in the world, and this plays a big part in the gaming industry now. You said it's a game changer. Can you explain to us what it is?
Yeah, for sure. So anyone who doesn't know Roblox, it started there, I think, in 2009. And it is nowadays the biggest platform for Gen Alpha and Gen Z in the world. So an average kid would spend 2.5 hours a day, more than TikTok. And this is because they're not just playing, they're socializing. They're talking to their friends, they're hopping from one experience to the other. It's a very unusual gaming platform. It's not the classic traditional one. And so I think what's amazing to see there is that as players of Roblox grow up, they become the creators themselves. So they become the developers of new games that now emerge and basically reflect or bring in new visuals, new intentions, new worlds that couldn't exist before. And I think this is like a game changer for young women. Because formerly you still do. If you want to do AAA games or whatever, you need to raise a lot of money. But if you just want to code or do art and you basically partner with your friends who are also Roblox players, you start to see emerging studios by young women. So
it really levels out the playing field. Anyone can participate right now. It's blown it wide open.
Yes.
Okay, so to close things off, there's also a Women in Games event on March the 1st. More than 300 women working in the Israeli gaming industry will participate, and you'll be one of the participants. So for the future, where do you see the opportunities for women in gaming?
Taking over.
Great. Done. Let's do it.
Earning the money we could be earning with, like a $4 billion, the gaming studios are leading or earning that easily. So if we would see some women at the top earning those amounts, that would be fantastic. Let's make it in the next 5 years, though.
Well, let's hope. And it sounds like we have the knowledge, we have the know-how, and we have the chutzpah, as we Israelis say here. So thank you very much, co-founder and CEO of Toya, Anat Sperling. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you.
Now, we move away from gaming because a line once thought untouchable has now been crossed. AI is designing a brand new virus from scratch in the lab, a milestone that could revolutionize medicine, but it's also the formula for the perfect biological weapon. Natasha Kirchuk reports.
This week, scientists confirmed something that would have sounded impossible just a few years ago. AI can now design brand new viruses from scratch, not discover them, not tweak existing ones, but actually create them. And while the breakthrough could transform medicine as we know it, experts are warning that it also brings new biological risks into focus. So let's start with the positive news. Researchers at the British startup Genro have successfully used AI to design viruses from scratch. We're talking about completely written gene by an algorithm. Now, their AI system is essentially trained on trillions of genetic letters to generate a virus that has never existed in nature. And one of those viruses is called Evo2147. It is incredibly simple. It's just 11 genes, and it was designed to kill dangerous E. coli bacteria. Now, in tests, some of these AI-made viruses killed bacteria 25% faster than natural ones. And that is huge for medicine because it opens the door to precision treatments for infections that no longer respond to antibiotics. But here is the part that makes experts especially nervous. A Microsoft-led study revealed something more unsettling. AI can also redesign genetic code to slip past lab safety checks, the systems that are meant to prevent dangerous pathogens from ever being built. These tools are called genome language models. They work a lot like ChatGPT, except instead of predicting words, they predict DNA. A, C, T, G. And after training on trillions of genetic letters, the AI can generate entirely new viral genomes that still look natural enough to avoid detection, making it harder for scientists to anticipate how those organisms might behave. Right now, researchers are testing this on viruses that infect bacteria, not humans, but experts say that the implications go far beyond the lab. For the first time in Earth's history, evolution has a co-author, artificial intelligence, and this technology could help wipe out superbugs and revolutionize healthcare, but without clear global safeguards. Scientists warn that it could also move faster than our ability to control it. And that is the balance that scientists and governments are now racing to get right.
More viruses, just what the world needed. Natasha Kurczyk there. And for all the latest viral tech news, I'm now joined by correspondent Joe Brown. Twitter feeds are currently flooded with one defiant penguin.
A nihilistic penguin.
A nihilistic penguin, not a Nietzschean penguin, but a nihilistic one.
Nietzschean, nihilistic, yeah, it's all the rage on social media right now.
Yes.
This is a very strange origin for a meme. It comes from a 2007 Werner Herzog documentary following penguins in the Antarctic region, and it shows one penguin that was going away from the pack, away from the herd. They said that it was looking to head towards the mountains. It looked behind, saw no one was going with it, but it was destined to go to the mountains. They even said in the documentary that even if someone had come and physically moved it away, they'd still run to the mountains. And people are using this online to show a sense of sticking to your guns, always following through, even when the herd, the rest of the world is against you. Follow your gut instinct. Be like that penguin. Be the nihilistic penguin.
But the penguin dies. If
so
you
spoiler alert,
if you go away from the herd towards the mountain, you will die.
It was 70 kilometers away. He will die. So that's why, at least in my opinion, this is a fairly stupid meme, or at least it's been distorted away from its original context, because they're essentially saying, even if it will kill you, go ahead, do your own thing. I suppose this can also be linked with the vaccine push. It doesn't matter if you want to die, perhaps, as long as you're sticking to your guns, then you are going for it. But of course, the biggest meme queens in the world are taking lead of this, and by that I, of course, mean the Trump administration.
Yes,
this has been used in a variety of different senses on White House social medias, from Robert F. Kennedy doing it to go their own way with his new food, healthy eating options. For the White House, they're using it to give shout-outs to ICE. And this also has one very prominent link, the Trump plan, at one point at least, to take over and annex Greenland. Of course, penguins, they're not in Greenland because that's not the Antarctic region, that's the Arctic region. But it's still being used as a combination of both of them. It's not the point, but also that would go very well with the purpose of this meme. It's not the point. The penguin does die if you do go away from it. If you do go 70 kilometers into the mountains, you will die.
You will die. Yes.
You'll die.
And also there's a coin with this penguin. And it's been doing way better than my coin, so I'm a bit annoyed that this penguin is it jumped with like, what was it, like 1,500% or something?
Something along those lines, yes. There have been multiple articles about it. That goes back to what we were talking about with the Lin coin. If it has any kind of publicity in the media, then it will skyrocket. The Lin coin didn't build the momentum from there. It's on the ground. I'm sorry, Lynn, but
it's annoying. Sorry, I'm not as big as a penguin.
You're not a penguin.
All right, so well, staying on the self-help, because for all the penguins out there needing a life coach, they are using more and more AI, and it's expensive.
It is very expensive. So there are these self-help gurus who are engaging in this chatbots. I would personally call it a scam. They would call it a scheme, however you'd want to call it. Essentially, for some people such as Matthew Hussey, you can pay $39 a month. Tony Robbins, $99 a month.
Wow.
And this will get a chatbot, which is, they are advertising as speaking to them directly. In a sense, it is, of course, not them. It is an AI chatbot that has been trained to speak like them. But the thing with these AI chatbots, they are set up with the same coding that you'd get from things like Gemini, ChatGPT, things that you can get for free. All you have to do is just write a message to ChatGPT saying, please respond in the style of Tony Robbins or of Matthew Hussey, and it can do roughly the same thing.
No way.
This is just a way to make as much money from the AI boom as possible, and for them to be as lazy as possible. Some of these self-help gurus, they pay $15,000 or they charge $15,000 an hour for a one-to-one session for them. So this is a way for as they're putting it, to make it easier and more accessible to get to them. But we have also covered this on the show before in the Viral Tech News. Using AI for psychological help is not a good idea, because the purpose of these items such as ChatGPT, they are designed to keep you there. So they are willing to be agreeable towards you. So if you are using this as a sense of self-help, it could backfire.
Right. And but if you do it, you can do it for free. That's what you're saying.
You can do it for free. You don't have to pay $99 a month.
Great. Correspondent Joe Brown, thank you very much. And that's all we have time for today. I'm your host, Wim Plagmeijer. Join us next week for a brand new episode of Innov'Nation. For now, thank you for watching and have a great day wherever you are from Tel Aviv.